I'm going to show you the good, the bad, and the ugly of my first CNC, what I really like and what I would do differently. Let's just start with this, the rolling cart. This is not my design. I got this off of the internet in YouTube University. It's been great. It fits my needs because there's no way I could haul this around. If you're going to build a large one, I would highly recommend that you consider building a rolling cart. I've got a different cart that I'm going to put my new one on because it's going to be a smaller build. What else? I use these metal router mounts that you can get. These are about 4 for 12 bucks off of Amazon. So this can take care of all your steppers if you wanted to use them. And they came with the screws. They fit to the holes that are already on there, so there's no drilling anything out. Although an M5 screw works a little better. Make sure you put a lock nut. If you don't have an emergency shut-off switch for your CNC, you need one. You need one that you can hit instantly to shut off the power to your stepper motors. And so this is about 25 bucks on Amazon. It's a great deal. It does 16 amps of power, so that's enough that'll completely run our entire power supply back there. And it's pre-wired, so you don't have to do any wired diagrams. It's a nice cord, heavy duty, grounded, and essentially this plugs into your main wall power, or in my case, the little hose reel. And then this, I can hook another cord onto, in my case, the cord that would go into my power supply that drives all the stepper motors. That way, if something goes wrong, I can just hit this. And I've got mine mounted over here, if you can see it on the side, so that I can just hit it with my hand, with my waist. It's not if your CNC will crash, but when it will crash. Some point, sometime, you'll forget to zero a bit. Something will come loose. A wire will slip, a bolt will come loose, and you're gonna need in about 1/10 of a second to hit that, or you're gonna be fixing your machine at best, and if not, you could potentially injure yourself. So you need a way to shut it off fast. Even a power strip, you think that's not gonna take you very long, but it's harder. You could be fumbling around for that switch. Spend your 25 bucks. Get yourself one of these. You could wire your own. There's some other versions that are cheaper if you're really savvy at wiring. I'm not gonna mess with this because I can't buy the supplies and make sure all the connections are right for 25 bucks and have it. And it came with a nice mount that has screw holes. It's so worth it. That's my personal opinion. I got mine on Amazon. You can probably get them in a woodworking store. Maybe they have them in the big box stores. Here's another alternative for mounting these motors. So you don't have to go with my design, really. I hope that if anything this CNC series has done for you is shown you that you can do all this and customize everything yourself. I've tried to keep it very generic so that you can get the principle, and then you could choose your rail size, what your footprint is, what components you want to use. But this is the alternative version of this. I think these are actually a tad more expensive, but they are kind of nice though, because you could just mount them and shift them up and down, and it would save shimming on the backside. So I'm going to use one of these for my X-axis in my next build. You'll kind of see more what I mean. On the very bottom down here, on my cart, I put wheels that you could pop up and down. I thought that was a necessity. I found that I tend not to anchor this down at all. This cart is heavy enough that it doesn't vibrate enough to move. So that was an expense that I did not need to really use. I think you can get better casters for less money, and if you can always put some sort of slide down add-on board if you feel like you need extra support. If you're just going to put one of these on a desktop, obviously you don't need this. It is nice to have a platform. The thing that I'm doing here assumes that you have a solid base that we're going to be screwing things into. I'm going to be screwing these Y rails. This is just some poplar. I think it's 20 millimeters. It doesn't matter the thickness. You can use whatever board thickness you want. And we're going to anchor this down, but we're going to put our rail and our ball screw on here. You can space this however you want. Use the technique that I already showed you. And in fact, I would leave a little bit on the end. Why do I want to do that? Because when that ball nut housing comes down and the bearings come down, once it hits here, that router is going to protrude. Leave a little bit of room on the front, 5 inches out this way. And you can see this is what we've been building with our open SCAD. This this little gantry here. I used 3/4 inch plywood. That's what my official one is, and I think that's a good choice. I would recommend it. These fasteners, I would go ahead and inset those. This is a side angle of that, and you can see that the board that we mounted on, we're gonna have to put our own set of fixtures on that as well. So on the back side, I've got another 5 inches. Whatever length of rails that you have, get your board so that it's 10 inches beyond that. So in my case, this rail was 1,000 millimeters. And then the advantage is, rather than doing the shim like I did here, you could just take that board, mount your rail still 5 inches in from the end of the board. You can just take your router and then create this shim by cutting out this area down here, and that will simplify it if you ever want to move it. And you're going to have 2 of these. Take whatever your rail size is, add 10 inches to it, go ahead and mount this out. I want to tell you about the things I would definitely do differently as I approach building my new CNC. The first thing I'm fully committed to is changing how I go about mounting my router on my Z-axis. I want to put those threaded inserts. I've shown you how to do that in earlier tutorials. It's a big, big, big deal. It is huge because it allows you to tighten the bolt from the front side and you don't have to reach around and try to get a hold of a nut on the back side. It also will help you with tramming. Only if you've built one of these and ever had to tram a router would you'll understand how significant that is. So make sure you put those threaded inserts all the way up your Z-axis. Realize those threaded inserts could allow you to attach other accessories like vacuum hoses, lasers in the future. That is another thing to consider along the way. When you connect wires, in the first one, I use these little cheap connectors that you crimp on, and that is fine, they worked, but one of the challenges with those connectors is a lot of times the stepper motor wire is a smaller diameter than, say, the wire that you're going to be crimping it onto on your shielded cable, and that makes for a tough connection. You could, of course, take the 2 wires, instead of using those connectors, you could solder them together and you could put electrical tape or maybe heat shrink tubing on there. That would work fine, but a lot of you I know don't want to solder. There is a great alternative that I discovered since building my first CNC, and that is there's these special connectors that you just put the 2 wires in and you just flip down a little clip and it will hold them in really securely. They're not horribly expensive. It's like $10 or so for 50 of them, so that would take care of all your wiring. And they will accommodate different diameters of wires and hold them tight. If you ever want to connect or disconnect these things, you can just flip that up and it's really, really, really fast. I really like them. The ultimate way to connect wires, though, would be to use something called an aviator connector that you would actually have to do some soldering, but it actually has a screw-in fixture that holds things tight. I will probably show that in one of my later videos. It is the most durable, the most professional level. You might want to consider that, particularly if you're skilled at soldering. It does add some cost because those connectors are more expensive than some of the other ones. The additional thing that you need to take into account is how high you mount that X board above your main CNC bed. I would add a couple more inches than what I have in the video, because I never took into account the spoil board takes up room, and the stock that you put in that you're going to machine is significant. Even though your cutting depth on most bits is only 20 millimeters, you still need that extra room for a pass-through. So I highly recommend you do it. It does come at a cost of some stability. I would definitely clean up my wiring, have a wiring management plan and thought process as you're going about it. And my Z-axis motor mount, I think, can be improved using a similar strategy to what we used on the Y-axis, and mainly routing out a single board to inset that router plate. That is going to be a useful thing to do. It is really nice if you could take and put a pass-through right through the main board of your CNC table, particularly in the back. That would allow you to put boards up vertically, and that allows you to do incredible joinery on the ends of boards that are not possible by doing it when the board's flat. It would be also nice to have a compartment that is custom designed to put away your Arduino, your power supply, your stepper motor drivers that's nice and secure, maybe a drawer that slides in and out, and also possibly a spot directly on the rolling cart for your CNC that will hold your computer and also allow a monitor to swivel out. That's a lot for modifications. Don't think you have to do them all, but it's nice to have some of these thought processes out there in the open so that maybe that will affect how you design your CNC. Once again, don't feel like you have to carbon copy everything that I do. You can do this. I try to make everything customizable and modular so it's easy to adapt. The first 11 videos in this series, I deliberately went slow. So right now we can start going very, very fast. You have a really, really good foundation and things are going to come together far faster than you might expect. When you get done, you're going to find that the build that you have is far superior than what you can get commercially for the same amount of monies. It's really important that you, if you haven't subscribed, you want to subscribe because the pace that we're going in this CNC build series is going to go much faster. The fun part is coming right now, so stay tuned.